Hey, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back.
To episode 9 of Alabama Primetime Live. Can
Welcome
we
back.
give a shout out before we even begin to Chris Sadler at the Voice of College Football Network? The graphic that sits behind us is incredible.
Yeah, definitely fire
Can
right
we thank you, Chris?
there. Yeah,
Is this look, I saw it today, right before we went into our production meeting, and I was blown away. It looked absolutely fantastic. So thanks, Chris.
yeah,
Brady and Manny back with you from Massachusetts and Illinois. How's the
yeah.
week?
It was good, man. It was good. Pretty much chill week so far. But just been rolling with playoff basketball and getting all that stuff going on. And also too, want to give we shout out Chris. I want to give a special shout out Jackson as well. Was holding it down. He's back again, holding it down for us
Yeah,
again. Of course, he's always here with Crimson Tide Nation. So definitely shout out to him as well. But no, the week has been good, man. How about
yeah.
you?
I gotta thank him. No, I gotta thank him for stepping in last Tuesday. I was not 100% on Tuesday. I had a rough travel day / sick day on Monday. Tuesday is like, no, I'm not. I don't want to overuse the voice. I was still wicked stuffy.
Valid.
Um, and I had uh for us in sports media, I had a busy. I had like 4 games this past weekend,
Yeah,
which is
that's a
busy. So I
lot,
was like,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
let's not risk it. And I know Jackson is always willing to help me out and vice versa. So I'm calling on him, and y'all put together a great show last week. So all
Well, we
right,
got another one today.
yes,
So
we do.
yeah, let's
Let's get
do it.
right into it.
All right, yeah, let's
Um,
go ahead and jump straight into it. The Kane Womack situation. Now, there were some comments that's went around and some quotes that I have, of course, that we got to comment on. But Kane Womack is excited about Alabama's defense and some key areas. So here's what he said. First thing that we wanted to make sure we did is we wanted to continue to build depth that we can trust when it matters most. I thought we've addressed those needs in a number of areas, which I'm excited about. And this is him on the defense of Alabama. Now, immediately, I'm like, of course, Bama's defense always got to be strong. That's pretty much like the bread and butter, at least in my opinion. And, I think without a good defense, we're really nothing because we'll get rolled on by all the other great teams that we do play in the postseason and in the regular season. So, your thoughts on that, Brady?
Well, first of all, big thanks to Touchdown Alabama on Twitter for providing great insight as always.
Definitely.
Um, Here's the problem. It's the problem last year for Bama's defense, as good as it was, couldn't stop the big play.
Well,
When you go out and you get guys like Calhoun, and I'll use him as the primary example because I think Bama last year lacked the corner that was able to prevent the deep threat, right? Brian Battle was that guy, right? He goes, who filled that void? Nobody filled that void. Calhoun is going to fill that void.
yeah.
Okay. And Kane's 100% correct here.
Yeah.
Every level of the defense was addressed in terms of on-field play and off-field play. Okay. Every level was addressed. The defense looked really good during A-Day. While this is not going to be a perfect defense, there is no such thing as a perfect defense. This defense is going to be eons better than it was last season. And I think it starts with the experienced guys that they went out and got in the portal.
Yeah. I think both sides of the ball is definitely a lot better than what we've seen last year. Obviously, some key guys in the transfer portal. And then also, too, I think a part that's being overlooked, too, by a lot is like the retention of bringing guys back. Like, we didn't lose that many guys. So that's going to be a huge help for our defense moving forward, especially going into the next season. So I'm definitely loving every bit here. And then we got another as well from Touchdown Alabama, another quote here about the quarterback duo So former football analysis. So he explained why he likes Ty Simpson as Alabama's quarterback in this whole quarterback battle. So he said, I think the thing about Ty Simpson that intrigues me is in this day and age, he didn't leave and he could have left multiple times. He's hung around and he stuck it out. He's fighting and he's battling to earn it. What's your thoughts on that, Brady?
Well, Tom is one of the best minds in the game. He's one of the best in our industry, right? In terms of in-game analysis. He's very good at what he does. And I hate to say it, but Tom Luganbill's right. Ty Simpson could have left
multiple times.
He could have gotten a high 6-figure, low 7-figure number. And he didn't.
This is true.
Now, the one problem I then have is that I feel like they're starting him for that reason.
Yeah,
I think in terms of just like natural, I just think in terms of natural athletic ability and football ability, right? If that makes any sense, Keelan Russell is better. Now, Ty might be the smarter quarterback, and he has had a year under Keelan's system, but that doesn't mean he's the right person. So,
valid.
If they start the year 3-2, I wouldn't be surprised to see Keelan start the 6th game of the season. That'd be week 7. I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, if we don't get off to a hot start, it's definitely going to be some changes.
Like, I mean, week 1 is Florida State. And then week 2 is ULM. Right? So if they struggle with ULM, and they shouldn't, go ahead and put Keelan in. See how he does. I think it was Texas last year was struggling with UTSA, and then Ewers had gotten hurt, so they put Manning in. And then the next week, all of UT media and radio was who's going to start week 3, because Manning looks great, but Ewers has been the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could find yourself in that situation. And that's a good problem to have, because you have 2 guys that you can put in at any time and it's going to work. I don't want to get it to that problem, though, but if that problem was inevitable, I wouldn't care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. I agree with him on this statement here, and that's one of the reasons I am glad about Ty Simpson still being here and just kind of thugging it out and staying in the mix, even though he wasn't a starter. He gets sent to the bench multiple times, become the backup quarterback on multiple occasions. But yeah, he's still sticking around. Love that about him, and I'm content with him being the starting quarterback as long as he's showing great progress and he's playing well. Like as soon as he starts playing bad, stuff like that, and we're getting the inconsistencies game after game after game for about 3 to 4 weeks. We have enough talent to go ahead and make some adjustment. But as long as he's playing good, I have nothing bad to say about him. Initially, I thought this was going to be kind of an advantage for him anyways, because he has been around Alabama's program for so long. He's been in college football for so long already. So, that is kind of, in a way, an advantage over the other younger quarterbacks. Like we've talked about in the past before, how he's really the only quarterback we have that has actual in-game snaps. Like nobody else on Bama's roster in that quarterback room has actual in-game snaps besides Ty Simpson. So, this is an aspect where I am happy about. I'm excited for it. And I do support the decision. I support it. It's just there's very little room for mistakes, especially in DeBoer's sophomore season, trying to, obviously make an emphasis. And then there's so much talent around us that my thing is we cannot allow this talent to go to waste. So if he end up going on like a 3-4 game slump, I think in that situation, maybe you do start to look in a different situation, maybe for just 1 or 2 games to see if someone else can step in and fill up the role. Because what we cannot do is allow him to stink it up because it's his last year and because he's been around and he has the most deference. Can't allow that to happen.
I agree. I kind of feel it's a short leash
Yeah,
scenario where you're going to start, but you're not locked in. And I think if you give him that, if you play it that way, you may get the best out of him.
yeah. This is true. This is true. All right. So we got what the draft. Our Bama guys is going into the draft here. So we got a couple
Excuse
guys.
me.
They're projected to be some great picks. And some of them maybe top 10, maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
Ah,
Um, who knows? Who knows? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know yet. Or
no,
they
we
might
don't.
they might
But
be. But let's just call it for what it is. Focusing on our Bama guys right now. And then the second half we'll focus more on the draft overall, including our Bama guys. But the most popular name coming from Bama right now, quarterback Jalen Milroe. Where do you think he goes? How soon do you think he's picked?
um, well, this I'll give kind of. Actually, I don't want to preview my not a full mock draft, but
Yeah. Don't do the full. Just say that
no,
for the
I
second
because I'm
half.
trying to say, well, he he will be the third or fourth quarterback taken, depending on
Mm,
which team kind of plays to his strength. Which how he fits best in a system.
mm-hmm.
I can see a team like Pittsburgh taking him. I can see the Giants taking him. I can see well, maybe not the Jets. Maybe if they want a little competition, maybe with
With the
Fields.
Jets, with Fields.
Um, that's really it. Arizona, maybe if they're saying, "Hey, Kyler, like time's ticking."
Yeah, time might
Um,
be up for him.
Seattle, maybe. Vegas, I as a Raider fan, I think I'm content with what I got right now in Geno and Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
But you can't I can't take my bias and have it affect this. I can see Vegas taking him. In more so second round, maybe they trade back or trade up to get 2 picks in the first round, late first round.
Yeah.
But where he is chosen is
Mm,
going to come down to a personal preference in the war room between him and Jackson Dart. Jalen
yeah.
is the smarter quarterback. He is the better runner. He is more physical. Jackson has the stronger arm.
Yeah.
So, what do
But
you value?
yeah,
Pocket
but
presence and arm strength, or versatility and toughness? That's all it's
so
going to come down to. And they're
there's a
two.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm saying they're two. There's no right or wrong answer, right? Because they're both equally is good. I think all is going to come down to his personal preference. So if I had to
Yeah.
pick where he's going to go early second round to the New York Giants.
Early second. Wow. Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at a second round. I think he does fall into that second round type of area. Obviously, there's a good amount of quarterbacks who I think is going to go before. We know Ward and Sanders will definitely go before, but that Jackson Dart range is kind of where you
That's the
start to
one where
play to personal preference there.
yep.
Obviously, Will Howard is in there, but let me just keep it Bama because we'll focus on everybody else in a sec. But as far as Jalen Milroe, I think a lot of teams expect him to come in a way use him how we see the Eagles use Jalen Hurts, like a dual threat quarterback. To me, it really, really depends on scheme. I could see the Steelers
Yeah.
going for him. Giants, we really still don't know who they're going to pick. Like in terms of they picked up a bunch of different quarterbacks right now. Got Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. Like, so we don't really know if they're going to draft a quarterback. But I'll say this about Milroe. Whatever team he goes to, I don't think we see an immediate start. I don't think
No.
we see that
No.
happen. I think he'll be more on the trend of taking 1 to 2 years behind, taking two years to sit behind a great quarterback. And at worst case scenario, if the quarterback is absolutely bombing it up, stinking it up, then we see Milroe get into action. But I don't really see him playing too much as a rookie or even in the sophomore season. I
What
think he'll more so be a third year type of quarterback, come in and really show his tail then.
what I have heard is that the Giants are operating with the best available player mentality. They're not targeting a certain position because they
Okay.
need everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's all going to depend on who Cleveland takes.
Yeah.
And my analysis for that will come later. But it's all going to depend. It's all going to depend on who Cleveland takes.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And I also think that Jameis Winston is there to get the best out of Russell Wilson. Okay. When they draft Milroe, if Russell Wilson's named the starter, they're going to cut Jameis Winston.
You think they'll cut him? I think they'll keep him for a backup, if anything.
You have Jalen Miller. Jalen Miller's not going to be a third-string quarterback. They'll go get somebody cheap.
Man, I don't know. We've seen how Minnesota almost did it. Minnesota almost had they had a loaded quarterback room at one point.
So it was McCarthy, Darnold, and someone else. McCarthy goes down. Darnold, and then they signed Daniel Jones when Daniel Jones was cut by New York in week 14.
That was a weird move.
It was a weird, but that's the dream quarterback scenario, right?
Yeah.
Their options are so plentiful where I was sitting there going, just trade JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
No. Why would you? I'm like, no. Why? Now, they did the right thing in extending Darnold, okay? But now you hope and pray if you're a Minnesota fan, he doesn't just,
that it wasn't fluke.
Yeah,
right? You hope it wasn't fluke.
Right. But I was sitting there saying, trade McCarthy. Get something for him. Send him to Vegas at the time.
Somewhere. Why he's hot. Why he's got the momentum.
Send him for a 4th-round pick. I would do that if I was Vegas. Yeah. I'm taking a low risk. And I'm giving up a mid-round pick. Sorry, they're a dime a dozen. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's true. Anyway, yes. Roll Tide. Love the elephant emoji. Thank you, Roll Tide Insider 2. The other there's 2 more really interesting ones. Jahad Campbell, likely to go in the 1st round, mid to late first. I see a dream scenario here with Philly.
Oh no. No, I would not be happy with this.
Why?
No, I don't want Philly to get any talent. I want Philly to bomb in this draft. I want them to draft someone and then he turns and I don't wish this on anyone entering the draft, but I hope they don't succeed with Philly. Whoever goes there, I hope they don't necessarily succeed in their career with Philly. I hope they get traded somewhere else and then that's where they prevail.
So who do you have? Where do you have Jahad going?
Oh man, Jahad, I think he could go to a couple different teams. I think the Bills could be a sleeper team that slide and make their way up to him. I also think another team, I would be very, very, very surprised, but I'm okay with this if they do make it happen. The Falcons, I would love if the Falcons ended up grabbing them.
Yeah.
Another team too, which I think could be beneficial. Patriots. They've been making a lot of moves, and they're low key kind of stacked on draft picks. Yeah, they're kind of stacked on draft picks. So I think even they could make a move and probably pick them up maybe 2nd round or so. But anywhere but Philly, in my eyes.
Anywhere but Philly.
Yeah, and then keep them out of. Honestly, if it's not with the Falcons, keep them out of the NFC South as well. Keep them out of there.
Okay. So it's Milroe. I mean, that's what, like 35, 36 to the. For me, for the Giants, 32 to the Eagles. For you, it's anywhere but Philly.
Yeah. So where
the other one, I have 32 to Philly. The other one being Tyler Booker. Now, Tyler Booker, I've seen as high as like 15, and I've seen as low as like 38. Right? Like, there's no.
Yeah. I have no idea. Honestly.
NFL Nation. So every year ESPN takes their beat writers for every NFL team, and they just do a mock. They do a combined mock, just the 1st round. And this mock had Booker going at 16 to Arizona. Now this makes sense. I feel like that's kind of the area he'll go, mid to late 1st round. Arizona needs an offensive line. Seattle, I feel like could use a little boost on the offensive line. Tampa, I mean, every team was always looking for offensive line help. But I feel like Arizona or Seattle at 16 or 18 for Tyler, I think makes a lot of sense. I don't know. Do the Rams at 26 go offensive line?
Yeah, I'm not really sure where he goes, honestly.
Does Washington at 29, if he's to fall? Washington's offensive line is pretty good, but do you Kansas City is going to need? They're going to have to. I mean, Joe Thuney is going to be on an expiring contract either next year or the year after. Where do you have him going? I'd say 16 or 18 is probably makes the most sense.
He's one of those guys. I'm honestly not sure where he goes. Out of all the projections that I've seen, he's kind of bounced around in different places. And you know, I think it's more of a personnel matchup in terms of figuring out where he lands. There's a lot of teams, you know, they are looking to like solidify some pieces on that offensive line, and potentially grabbing them might be the deal that does it. So, you know, you brought up a good point with the Chiefs. Like, obviously they lost Thuney, and he's going to be a huge loss for the Chiefs. So maybe they try something new, bring in a new and improved guy, like a younger guy who can develop and be around for a long time. And then if he shows up and he's really skillful, you know, you don't have to
that's
pay
right.
him
They traded Thuney. I
totally
totally
forgot
forgot they traded Thuney.
Yeah, the Bears got
I totally
all the
forgot they traded Thuney. That's my America. I thought he was on I thought they said they weren't extending him and he was going to ride out. Sorry, America.
That was why they traded, because he was up for a contract. So
I thought
they didn't want
this was the final year. That's my bad. See, I should start researching more.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But look, let's explain more on the draft. Let's do more on the draft. Let's go to our quick break, and then we'll jump back at it with the full draft and everyone else included in all the analysis in the draft. Cool. All right, let's do that. We'll take a quick break, and then we will be right back. All right.
Will Jalen Miller get selected for the Saints, or will he get drafted in the third round?
I'm content with that.
Saints, I mean, maybe, but no, I'm sticking with the Giants. Second, 34th, 35th, whatever overall. I don't know.
I'd take Milroe in New Orleans. I'd be happy about that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd be happy about that. I mean,
logically,
right now they're struggling quarterback-wise. Carr is all off the injuries.
I love Carr, but every year that guy, good year he has, he gets hurt. Every sucky year he has, he's healthy.
Yeah, he's a talented dude, but
like literally, it's for like 10 years in Vegas. If he was good, he would get hurt. If he was bad or we were bad, he was healthy. Like, it didn't make any sense. It made no sense.
It's true. Yeah, I would be okay with Milroe going to New Orleans. And my reasoning why is actually a little flawed. I will be honest. I'm a Falcons fan, so everyone knows. And then if
living in Chicago, Falcon fan,
I know, man. I've been getting talked about my whole life for it. But I honestly don't think Milroe is going to be the best quarterback in the NFL. In his time in the NFL, I just don't think he's going to be as talented as everybody is hyping up. In the NFL, I think he could be impactful. I think he will be impactful, but I'm not convinced. I don't see it.
I agree.
Just don't see the tangibles there. And, you know, I do hope he has a great career. If he gets drafted to the Saints, hopefully he doesn't have his great career with the Saints and he goes somewhere else to do it. But, you know, I wouldn't be mad at the Saints picking him up. It could be good for him, too. He might see more playing time as well because, you know, how Derek Carr is going to only make it to week 6. All right, we got to do the full. Let's give our top 5 picks.
You want your top 5?
Yeah, let's do top 5 picks because I don't want to run out of time before we before we get a chance to do it. So I'll let you go first on your top 5, your order.
Okay. You're just gonna go straight top. You don't want to go 1-1, 2-2, 3-3.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's do that. I think that's a little
1-1,
bit.
2-2, 3-3. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So we'll go back and forth. So number one, who you
Cam Ward. I feel like this is
yeah,
probably the most obvious one. Here's my thing with Cam, and I've been all in on him when he was at Incarnate Word, when he was at Wazoo, and then he went to Miami and just lit it up. Older, yes, but if he can give Tennessee 10 solid seasons, get them back to the postseason. The kid does everything. His arm strength is next level.
He's talented, man.
He's talented. They're starting to build pieces around him. I feel like this is their guy.
Yeah, I like Cam Ward at 1. I like Cam Ward at number 1, and I think a report came out too that they've said they're gonna draft Cam Ward.
It just makes the most sense, and there's no drama with him.
This is true,
and I think you know who I'm talking about.
This is true. Yeah, Shedeur got a lot of attention. I mean, he's got a lot of attention. Okay, so number 2, Cleveland Browns got that pick. Who you think is going at number 2?
They are going to do the most Cleveland Browns thing ever.
You think
so? Take Shedeur Sanders. This is the most. Get me on my soapbox. Shedeur Sanders is the most overrated quarterback prospect I've probably seen in my lifetime. Okay.
Oh my gosh, lifetime.
He's not smart. Look.
Oh man.
I am still in college. Full disclosure. I'm still in college. Manny's seen a lot more football than I have.
Not bad.
I've seen some bad quarterback prospects. With all the hype he's getting, he might be the worst. Just because of all the hype he's getting. It's because his last name is Sanders. I'm going to call it how it is. He is getting as much attention as he's getting because his last name is Sanders. If his last name was Jones or Phillips or Tevž, right? Shout out to the Portuguese people. He wouldn't get any of this attention. Okay. The thing that also ticks me off, really badly, you get your number retired after going 13-12 in 2 seasons.
Hey man, they said history got to start.
You did nothing.
They said
you made the Alamo Bowl. Congratulations.
They turned the program around. Nobody cared about Colorado.
You went 13-12 in 2 seasons. Nobody turning the program around.
But everybody cares about Colorado now.
3 years ago, they won a game. Okay, and then they went, and then they started 3-1, and then they lost 7 of their last 9, or 7 of their last 8, whatever it was. I understand that. Okay,
this is true.
Yes, you turned the program around. Last year, you finished with 9 wins. Fantastic. You weren't the only one doing that. You had a running back. Not Edwards, the other kid. I forget his name. Who I think ran for almost 1,000 yards. Hunter, Horn. You had a really good defense led by your brother Shiloh.
This is true.
There's other pieces around him that contributed to that success just as much, if not more, than he did. He's not a smart quarterback. I'll give him the arm. He's got a good arm. Okay. He holds on to the ball way too long. He's not mobile at all. And I just don't see him. I don't see I just don't see it.
Okay, so I agree with you.
Don't see, and the Cleveland they're doing the same thing that they did with stupid Manziel.
Yeah,
another
guy who was coming out of college. He's gonna
bring in money. He's gonna fade out. Now he probably won't. I don't know, drink his way out of the league or do anything stupid. But he's not gonna perform.
So
it's no different than Jamarcus Russell back in 06, 05, before my time.
He was awful.
It's no different.
It was awful. So I agree with you to an extent. I agree with you on definitely overrated. He is talented. It's just extremely overrated. Media is overhyping everything. But also, this isn't anything he's asked for. This is just what comes with the territory of who his father is. A lot of people in terms of scouting and stuff like that, they hated Deion Sanders. So of course they're gonna take some
That's
of that
very
same
no,
hatred
you're
out on them.
100%
And then also
absolutely.
too, the impact that he did have at Colorado, while he wasn't really like winning championships and stuff like that, which is what it's about, especially here at Bama. This is what we're about. Like, we don't want to hear none of the flashy shit if you ain't winning championships. Like, I mean, being honest. So I understand that perspective too. But also too, I think of it from an aspect of people are fed up about those situations, from getting there and breaking the most terrible records at Colorado. Obviously, they're not a football school, so every record is going to be breakable. So some of these things get blown out of proportion. So that's why I'm like, I do agree with you. I think he is talented. I think he does have a good arm, but there's certain areas where he is overhyped. I put it this way: if Shedeur would have entered the draft last year, he definitely would not have been a top 10 prospect, because that quarterback draft was
he would have cracked the second round. He'd be a day 3 pick.
1,000%.
Okay,
but this is a weaker draft
pick.
class. This is a weaker draft class for quarterbacks. So because of that, it's helping them. It's like, who else is out there that is like, oh, okay, this guy's for sure better than him. So that's why it's like, it's annoying, and I get
Damian Woody thinks Jackson Dart is going to be drafted ahead of Shedeur. Now I don't agree with that, but it's possible. It's really possible.
I look at it this way too, and maybe he goes to the league and he's a bust, whatever. But it's sort of a media problem as well, because they did this with Mitchell Trubisky coming out of college.
Yeah, they
Zach
did.
Wilson,
they did.
Coming out of
Zach Wilson.
Darnold.
That's right.
Thank God Sam Darnold had a great season last year, because it was already he's terrible.
I was.
It was a lot. They do. This is what media does around draft time. They're like, oh my gosh, this guy did the best college prospect since Tom Brady, since Peyton Manning, since this guy, and then you get to the league and the guy can't complete a pass. So it's like, it's hard, but I think the Cleveland Browns probably go that way. Just knowing how they are. Getting back to the topic, I think Cleveland Browns definitely are like, you know what, let's go with you. So it would be on them, and I think so. It would be just a downhill, slippery slope if he.
So you think they're taking Shedeur?
I think they go Shedeur. I have two options. Okay. I think they possibly go Shedeur Sanders, but also I think they might try and just be an overbearing power on defense and go Abdul Carter. That would be just disgusting, because they would still have Myles Garrett and the rest of those guys on the defensive line and add Abdul Carter.
No, that makes sense.
So I think they could go
and you roll
route
with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, you roll with Kenny Pickett. You got the other quarterback, the young guy. I don't remember his name, but the other young guy who's a quarterback.
I think Pickett, Flacco, and DTR.
Yeah, they did add Flacco. Yep, they did.
DTR, I don't think they got rid of.
Yeah, they still got him as well. So they might move away from Shedeur, but I'm gonna go Abdul Carter here for the Cleveland Browns.
Abdul Carter. By the way, Sean, thank you for the comment, but I think his arm is his greatest strength. Go ahead and do me a favor. Go watch the Colorado State game. And the amount of stupid throws that Shedeur made. I understand the defense was horrible, but go ahead and watch the amount of stupid throws he made in that game. Sean, Browns again. Okay, that I can see. So this also ties into my Giants pick. The Giants are going to take the other remaining Colorado teammate. So in this instance, it's going to be Travis Hunter. Okay.
So
But if the Browns take Hunter, which is another very Cleveland-like thing to do, you're 100% correct. The Giants will then take Shedeur. Again.
So you're three for the who's your three?
My three will be Travis Hunter, but it won't surprise. It'll be back-to-back Colorado teammates. But getting into the specifics, Shedeur then Travis.
I'm kind of in a similar situation at my number three.
Travis will not play both sides of the ball in the NFL. I don't care what he says. I don't care what the media says.
Brady.
It's not going to happen.
Brady, you're making this a conversation we don't have to revisit.
He will play wide receiver in the National Football League.
Oh man, Brady.
Did you look at his corner numbers? Have you looked at his corner numbers? They're terrible.
They're not terrible. What?
He was average.
Brady.
Average.
We're going all right, look, for the sake of time, because we're already over. We will revisit this conversation.
We're gonna
Because we'll do a
Listen,
draft recap. We'll do a draft recap.
Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman. I'm dying on that hill. Ashton Genty got robbed of the Heisman Trophy
we're in the
because
era
Travis Hunter played both sides of the ball.
We're in the era now where you can cry about not getting an award, and then you
I'm
get
gonna
it.
cry.
That's the
get
era.
on
I
a
mean, it worked with
soapbox
Josh Allen.
and weep
Come
and
on.
cry and do whatever I have to do.
No, I'm saying the player. Now, I'm not saying you. I'm saying we're in the era now where the player can speak to media and cry about possibly getting an award, and they get it. Working with Josh Allen. You go back like a couple years ago, Joel Embiid was crying about MVP. He got MVP. Josh Allen was crying about MVP. He got MVP. Travis Hunter was crying about Heisman. He got Heisman. So now we're in that era where you got to tell media, I really think I deserve this award. And I would cry if I didn't get it.
Another thing for me too is like when I draft, maybe this is just a personal thing, right? But if I'm sitting in a war room and I'm drafting the face of my franchise, I want somebody who is an all-star on the field and off the field. Doing the Heisman pose after every touchdown, I don't like that.
Hey man, the best of the best did that though.
How many times do you need to do it? For us, we got the message in the offseason, right? Like we understand that you think you deserve the Heisman. A lot of players think they deserve the Heisman. Doing it after every touchdown when you're an average cornerback, I'll give him this.
Brady,
he's an above average wide receiver. He is a great wide receiver. I'll get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. Okay. That's where he'll thrive in the NFL. Look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. A good wide receiver, an average corner wins the Heisman Trophy. Give me a
You're killing me. You're killing me.
He's not going to be.
You are lucky we got to go to pick 4. You are lucky we got to go to pick 4 because I want to stay on this topic, but we just got to make it through 5. So you are lucky we got to go to pick 4. I'm gonna let you get away with it this time, but if we were 20 minutes earlier in the show, I wouldn't let you get away with it.
All right, 4 for me.
Okay, yeah. Who you got? Number 4, Patriots.
Abdul Carter.
Okay. I like that.
That's a Mike Vrabel pick.
I like that.
That's a Mike Vrabel saying, "Let me take this guy and mold him into and now he has this potential. Give it 3 years. The best defensive end in the National Football League. He's got that potential. Maybe that's a little extreme, but I'm willing to say it.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
Let Vrabel cook. Okay. This is not a Patriots team that's making the playoffs next year. That's another hill I'll die on if I were to like that tomorrow. They're not making the playoffs. They will not. They'll be closer than they were last year. I say 7-10 is a fair assessment for the Patriots. So this is going to take time.
Patriots. Okay. So
7-10. 7-10 is fair for the Patriots, I think.
Patriots pick at number 4. At number 4, I think they could go a couple of different ways. Part of me,
they could. They could go Will Campbell too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, they go like add some defensive pieces because you still got a lot of great edge rushers out there. But I think they try and spark up the offensive weapons. On that side, obviously they added Diggs as a receiver, and that kind of put my mind in a receiver state of mind. So I think they go McMillan. They go McMillan.
See, I thought they were going to take T-Mac, and then they signed Diggs.
Yeah, so like that.
That's where I dig it though.
So it's weird, and I'm like, okay, maybe they signed Diggs too because they want the extra offensive power, like when they draft McMillan. So that's what I think will go at number 4 to the Patriots. I think McMillan will go down at number 4, and then at number 5, this will be our last one. But you got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got going at number 5?
Campbell. You got to protect Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I thought about Genty, but Genty has shot up so many draft boards. Oh my gosh. I thought Genty was going to be a Cowboy, and then I saw Genty to the Raiders. I got very excited. I saw Genty to the Jags. I'm like, no, but I think the weapons are there. Brian Thomas, Travis Etienne, being the main two at both the wide receiver and the running back position.
Yeah.
Protect Trevor Lawrence. That's all. Continue to protect your franchise. Set yourself up for success. Take the safe pick. Take the day one starter.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I actually have Will Campbell there as well with the Jaguars. Initially, I had Shedeur falling there, but I really don't think he'll fall there. Part of me has a feeling, and I'm overstepping here because I said we were going to stop at 5 and we're already over. But part of me thinks Shedeur is going to drop down to 6 and just be just watch Geno Smith for those couple of years. I don't think he goes into the NFL.
Now, again, biased Brady. If I see Shedeur in a Raider uniform, I will.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be the funniest episode. Funniest episode.
Oh my god.
I will, bro.
Don't even put it in the universe.
I'm immediately texting you. If that happens, I'm immediately texting you.
You may not get a response for 2 to 4 business days, but you can absolutely text me.
Oh my god. I cannot wait. That would be hilarious.
No.
Okay, Raiders Thursday, we'll see.
Thursday, 8:00 Eastern from Green Bay.
That would be crazy.
8:20, I don't know. 8:00, I think, on ESPN and ABC.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Well, we're already over. We've overstepped time.
We've been over, but
yeah, we've
been over. Has gone up the longer we've gone, and everyone. I mean, there's a lot of great. Miller threw 10. We'll get through these before we get off. Miller threw 10 interceptions, 6 touchdowns in September, October. Yeah, they will see that. Because they will.
This is why he needs to go to New Orleans. This is why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I need that same energy when he played.
Cam Scatterbo did the Heisman pose twice, and he didn't win. Cam Scatterbo is a dog. He did it twice. Hunter did it after every touchdown.
Bro, everybody, that's what they do.
Once in a while. And I'm not saying you can never do it, but literally, like Travis Hunter scored a pick 6 in week 3. The score is 52-0.
Bro, but
there's no need.
A pick 6, man. For it. But he's playing both sides of the ball. He's catching passes on offense and catching passes on defense. I'd be doing that shit too. Yeah, it's everybody I've seen in the Heisman running has done that. So that's the only reason.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
When did Genty do it?
The old school guys.
When did Genty do it?
Cry about the award.
When did Genty do it?
He didn't. He got to cry a little bit hard.
Because Genty took it like a champ. I didn't win, and all he did was use it as motivation. And you know what? I had Boise State going a lot further than they did in the playoff because I thought Genty was going to get him there. But you know what? Ashton, I cannot wait to watch Ashton Genty as a Las Vegas Raider. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I love that kid.
I got you. So. Man, what year was that? Man, you know what? We're already. What year was that? Whatever year, Adoree Jackson. You had another guy from Michigan. The safety. He was at USC. Boy. It was a nasty class. I want to say it was the year Johnny Manziel won. Everybody did
11.
It was either
12.
Maybe it was Lamar Jackson. Maybe I don't know. But one of them years. It was one of them years. It was. Of course, I cannot think of any of their names right now, but that's just a sign. That's just a sign that we don't even need to have the conversation because I'm not going to win an argument right now. But we'll revisit.
We will. No, Tuesday's going to be fun. Tuesday's going to be a recap, and we'll preview. I think it's after the Tennessee game. I think we've got to preview that game. And then we'll have some. If any recruiting or transfer updates come in, the majority of next week's episode, we'll either be crying or we'll be very happy. There's no in between. So just buckle up because next week's going to be a lot of fun.
That'll be fun. All right. Well, I guess it's time. We'll be back Tuesday. You can find us here, Manny, Brady. Catch us on Tuesday. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.